and welcome to the Authority of Love. I'm your host, Greg Williams, and I'm joined by our co-host, Mr. David Walls of the Family Foundation for another Family Foundation Friday. David, welcome.
It's good to be with you, Greg.
Well, and we're glad that you're with us as well, listeners on WJMM 99.1 FM, Central Kentucky's Christian Radio, or maybe you picked it up on a podcast or a video that was shared from one of our websites. We thank you for that, and share it with others. Appreciate you being with us. David, how are you doing, brother?
Greg, I am doing good.
Good.
I got some sun.
Yeah, you did.
You know, and I told someone this is a visual representation that prayer can be answered and is powerful.
Yeah. And then we go back on the day we're recording this one. It's a little chilly again,
Yeah.
right? It's nice, a beautiful day though. But I know what you're talking about. We'll get into that more in a little bit. I do want to continue to remind people of this. Not that you need it, but I think it would be helpful if we just kept it on front of mind. Please continue praying for our country and its leaders, for Iran, the Christians, the people, the Middle East, and all that's going on there, because it certainly is having widespread ramifications.
Yes.
And we want to be in prayer that what is going on more than anything honors the Lord. And we can talk about just war or not and all those kind of things, but it is what it is. So we need to continue to pray for all of those. David, referring to your tan there, man, looks good. I wasn't out in it as much, so but I will be heading to Florida tomorrow.
All right.
So I'm going to come back with a deep tan again, the Lord willing.
Yeah.
You were at the Kentucky March for Life on Wednesday.
Yeah. So we've been praying.
Yes.
I think even on this program and with some of our friends at Right to Life and others. For that it wouldn't be raining, because the forecast was for rain on Wednesday. Yeah. And Greg, not only did it not rain, literally during the main part of the rally on the steps of the Capitol, the sun came out.
Yeah. There was no storms. There was no rain. There was some wind.
Yeah.
That we could deal with that.
Yeah.
So it was good. That was an answer.
So when I got home after the rally, my kids were like, "Why are you sunburned? Where were you?" I was like, "I went to the march, and the Lord gave us a sunny day for a portion of the march." But no, that was an answer to prayer. Incredibly thankful for all those that were able to come out and join us. So many young people. Many different schools and school buses, and I just have to say I'm incredibly thankful for the leadership and the work of our friends at Kentucky Right to Life and Adia, and they're the lead on this march and all the work that they put in, the videos that they had sharing some powerful testimonies. I've seen this video before, Greg, but the one from our friend. Crystal, is it Crystal?
Yes.
Yes. When
York.
she shares her testimony and story about how she was given life, even though she came out of a situation where sexual assault was involved. Just a reminder of the beauty of life and what God can bring out of a really bad situation, obviously. But she's just so thankful, obviously, that God gave her the opportunity. Her mom chose life. And it's a reminder, too, I think, for us, Greg, why it's so important that we obviously continue to stand for life, and so thankful that we don't have some of these exceptions in our law in Kentucky that they do have in other states that promote the idea that not all lives are worth defending under the law, and we know ultimately they are. And so my hope and prayer was just that this would be another opportunity, and I think it was, for the message of life to get out. It was great to be able to this year. I wasn't able to last year because of some activities going on at the Capitol, but make it all the way over to the memorial for the last part of the festivities, so to speak, of the day, and just in light of the passing of our friend Lori Parker, who was so involved in with the memorial for the unborn, but just have a moment of reflection and prayer. I know you were able to pray, and just a reminder of why it's so important that we keep marching and keep advocating and keep standing for life each and every day and opportunity we have.
Yeah, well, David, I echo all of that. It was incredible. God really blessed it with the weather and His presence in many ways. But as you're talking about that, I'm thinking back to one of the things that I reflected on in the closing segment there at the memorial. God told Jeremiah, "Not only did I form you, but I knew you in your mother's womb." And He told David, the psalmist, I don't remember if David 139, but He told the psalmist, I knew you before I even formed you. And then he said to Jeremiah, I consecrated you. I had a specific purpose for you, which is what sanctification and discipleship and holiness is supposed to be all about for us as believers and as Christians. And that doesn't begin at the church door and end when you walk out of the church door. And that's what we saw yesterday, and it was really good. And to see all the young people and the adults and everyone throughout the rally and the march, and then at the memorial for the unborn, and remember Lori, and I think Bill Waller, I believe, was another one that Adia mentioned that passed this last year, was very supportive of all that. So yeah, it was a good day. It was a wonderful day. And yet we realized that we still live in an imperfect world.
We do.
And it's difficult.
It is. And you know, as you and I have talked, Greg, we still have to come to the recognition that even here in Kentucky, with the laws that are in place that we're thankful for, that have continued to be, in effect, in spite of challenges from the abortion industry, the reality is preborn Kentuckians are still losing their life every day because of the proliferation of the abortion death pill.
Yeah.
And so
women are being harmed in that process every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
And so we have a moral obligation as pro-lifers to continue to advance the cause for life, continuing to work to, as so much of the event was about kind of promoting a culture of life, but then also recognizing we're in the middle, we're quickly approaching the last portion of a General Assembly where we're advocating for some important pro-life bills, including House Bill 646 that would, the abortion death pill trafficking bill that would help with the enforcement of this deadly pill in many ways. It's why that bill is so important and why, we're continuing to encourage the General Assembly to move this bill forward.
Yeah, and we'll have a little more on that next week because there's been something happen at the federal level that I think we can give a little bit more on. So absolutely, we need to keep praying and action on that. And I know one that we've talked about as well, our good friend Representative Matt Lockett has a bill that is going to help in a lot of this respects too with social media, right?
Yes, absolutely. Prayers answered from our conversation, Greg, last week on the program. But on Monday of this week, Representative Lockett's House Bill 227, the bill to provide some meaningful protections for parental rights as it relates to their kids' social media, and then also just protections for kids from some of the addictive features on social media. That bill overwhelmingly passed the House 96-0, Greg. And so, and that was in spite of, and we talked a little bit about this last week, some of the opposition from big tech, big social media, the Chamber of Commerce actually once again showing itself to fairly frequently stand on the side against important pro-family bills, was circulating information against the bill. Thankfully, none of that impacted members of the House in both parties. It was a bipartisan vote. And so now that bill has moved over to the Senate, and we need to encourage our senators to move this bill quickly. Yeah. Just to remind folks, once a bill passes one chamber, it has to go through the whole process on the other chamber. So there needs to be a committee hearing, pass out of committee, then go on to the Senate floor. And this bill has been really crafted really, really well. We've worked with our friends at Alliance Defending Freedom. So it's really important that, the bill, as it was passed in the House, move into the Senate so we can send it to the governor. And I'd love to see Kentucky be the first state, because this bill takes a little bit different approach than some of the other bills. I think it's going to be more effective, and I think it's going to withstand any probably inevitable legal challenge. Our Attorney General is all in and is supporting of it and has said he's ready to defend it. So for a variety of reasons, Kentucky could really stake out a place as the leader in protecting kids on social media with this legislation. So I encourage folks to go to our website at kentuckyfamily.org, and now you can encourage your senator on this important legislation.
Yeah, and the comment I made leading up to that, David, was this. When we allow these things to go unguarded into our children's minds and hearts through their eyes and their ears, this is how a lot of these things that we're dealing with today happen. Yeah. So we've got to go back and begin to, first of all, give parents the proper rights and protections, and then give our children the protections that they need so that they do not end up being exposed to a lot of these things that they don't need to when their minds are developing, which we've known for years now, 30 years now, with the development of the mind. So be praying. They can get information on all these again on your website, right? And take action on them.
Absolutely.
You mentioned another one that I was not aware of, But Representative Wesley has a bill out there, right?
Yeah. So last week, Greg, or maybe it was this week, the deadlines are running. We're past the filing deadline now. Right. So
no more bills.
There won't be any new bills filed. But House Bill 867 has been filed by our friend Representative Bill Wesley. And again, this bill is in response to the continued insanity of men claiming to be women, trying to use bathrooms and other private spaces.
Locker rooms,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Obviously, front and center to this was a situation Bill Wesley himself was involved in last session, if folks recall, where he confronted a large man that had gone into the women's restroom, a large man claiming to be a woman in a sheer dress. That had frightened, my understanding, some young girls that were in the restroom, and so he confronted this individual and said, "You are not going to come back into this bathroom again." But there's been other instances. We've obviously seen instances, whether it be in women's prisons, in actually even
schools,
yes. college dormitories in different situations, a lot of different contexts. So this common sense bill, which I would just call the no men and women's bathroom bill, even though it's a little broader than that. That bill has been filed, and so we're thankful. There's been a number of co-sponsors on that legislation already. And so we're thankful that Representative Wesley continuing to lead on that issue. I know it's an issue of passion for him. He wants to ensure every woman, every girl in the Commonwealth of Kentucky can be protected in knowing that that men who identify as women, and honestly vice versa, but honestly the issue of men identifying as women have been the ones
much larger issue,
a bigger concern, obviously. So again, that's House Bill 867.
Yeah, and then and so please again be praying, act on that. I think that'll go through pretty quickly. It's not only common sense, but the research and the facts and the momentum because of that are very clear.
Yeah.
So we need to have that passed. HB 360.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Just
connected again.
Yeah,
right?
this is another bill, and a lot of folks are like, "Oh, we haven't passed a bill like this," because there had been a bill that had passed in the Senate in previous sessions, but this is a bill to protect kids from hypersexualized performances. Sometimes we see these hypersexualized drag performances that are happening, including on public property. And so House Bill 360 has been filed by Representative Scott Sharp. But the reason I wanted to mention it again, Greg, because some of these laws that have been passed in other states similar to this have been challenged in court. Yeah. Some of them have unfortunately not withstood some of these challenges. But of note is that Texas's law that was passed that had originally been put on hold was just upheld, a resounding victory at the Fifth Circuit. Right. And so this is another reminder of the importance of this issue and the legal argument. And the idea that the state doesn't have the right to protect kids from these harmful content is thankfully the Fifth Circuit recognized the truth. And so my hope is that court decision will help give some renewed momentum to that issue here in Kentucky as we, again, fastly approach the last couple of weeks of the legislative session.
Well, and I don't want to insult your intelligence as listeners or viewers, but the theme running through all this is why do we continue to push sexual immorality on children? And that's the real issue in almost every one of these in some way or another. So we want to be able to stand against that. I know we've talked about it before, but HB 359, what we used to call baby Olivia, is just human growth and development, which we had in books and everything all the way up until recently. Yeah. It should be in there. So thank you for joining us. Thanks for your prayers. Thanks always to the Lord. Make it a great day, and God bless in Christ. I'm your host, Greg Williams, joined by our co-host, David Walls, and you're listening to Family Foundation Fridays on the Authority of Love.